Somehow the world's against us now. I want to do something that's going to change hearts and minds. I said, raise your hand. Who here feels scared and alone? And everybody raised their hand.
I understand that then you felt abandoned by that community.
Bullets are hitting around him and he's taking video. He doesn't even know if he's going to make it.
My God. What do the films Good Will Hunting, Pulp Fiction, and Inconvenient Truth, and Inglourious Basterds have in common? They're all classics, and they were all produced by my guest today. A kid from the Bronx who ditched civil engineering for a career in the arts, he's been busting out blockbusters since the early 90s. But like so many of the guests on this show, the events of October 7th and the harrowing silence from Hollywood in its aftermath pushed him down a new path. One that led him to produce Red Alert, the new miniseries now streaming on Paramount Plus that dramatizes 4 remarkable true stories of horror, heroism, and hope from that terrible day. He's a 3-time Academy Award-nominated producer and a lion of Zion. Please welcome Mr. Lawrence Bender.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for being here,
Kid
man.
from the Bronx.
That's right. Lawrence, you and I actually got to hang out last night a little bit at an event for Red Alert, which was, I have to say, one of like 7 events for Red Alert that I was invited to in the past couple weeks. What really impressed me was not just how deeply you are invested in this project, but you know, from your remarks and from a little video clip we saw of you on the ground in Israel during production, how invested you are in Israel, in the people whose stories you're telling. It's clear there's like a mission there for you. So let's start with, how did you get involved in this project?
The way I got involved with this is I went to a meeting that Rick Rosen at William Morrison Dever, he's a partner there. He had the CEO of Keshet.
The big-time Israeli production company.
Exactly. The biggest network in Israel. Avi Nir is the CEO. And Avi Nir came in, and, you know, typically Avi does these meetings, but this was a particular meeting. It was a few months after October 7th, and he gave a presentation on what it was like for him as a person of Israel, a father, just a regular person, husband, but the CEO of a network where all the information is coming in real time. And he's seeing it all. So he's got reporters in the field. So the government didn't know what was going on yet. So all the information going out to everybody was from Keshet. And the reporters in the field with looking at their phones and saying, you know, there's a terrorist in my kibbutz. Where's the army? Please send somebody. And they're reading it on camera in real time. And afterwards I asked Rick, I said, I have to meet him. We got to do something together.
You just said what? You said, hey, I feel moved in this moment. I want to be involved in Israel in some way, like find something for me to work on.
I said actually something more than that. I said, somehow the world's against us now. We need to do something. We need to work together. I want to I want to do something that's going to change hearts and minds, and we can do this together. Let's partner up. Let's figure it out.
And the world hasn't exactly been fawning over Israel for quite some time now. Is this something that had been brewing in your brain at all prior to this, or this was not on your radar at all, and it was the crater impact of October 7th that pushed you down this road?
Historically, I've been doing things around Israel for about 20 years. I went to Israel in 2003 with the Israeli Policy Forum.
Shout out to IPF. I'm a Bronfman convener, former member of that fellowship.
Great organization. They took us into Ramallah during the Second Intifada, right? We went into Ramallah.
Sounds safe.
It was a little bit scary, I have to say.
Yeah, it sounds dicey.
You know, and we met Abu Mazen in a building with no windows.
Wow.
And it was starting to get dark out, and we needed to leave before it got dark, you know. Maybe it sounds super naive today, right? But at that time, he had won on a peace ticket, even though comes from terrorism.
Right.
And we as American Jews are trying to figure out what can we do to help. And he said, you know, our police cars in Gaza, they have flat tires, they don't have radios, we have them no money, they can't go after bad guys. Help me with those guys. And we were trying to come up with practical things. I mean, it all sounds so...
Well, it's 20-some years ago. It's a different time.
And we met with Mubarak. We met with the old dictator.
In Egypt?
In Egypt. We flew into Egypt. We took a private jet, went to Egypt. We met with his son.
Did you spend any time in Israel?
We did. We started in Israel. Then we went to these other places, and then we came back. When we were coming back, as we were landing, we got word that a suicide bomber had just blown up a bus on Jaffa Street. And we're like, we were feeling good coming from our conversation with Mubarak, and we were just feeling like, oh, we're making headway. We felt like Mubarak felt the need to continue to do business with Israel. That was important. Even the Arab street was not happy about the whole thing. And then our world just shattered. And then my buddy I was with, Boaz Yakin, who was on the trip with me, and I made a few movies with him, his family lives down the street from where the bomb exploded. So we found out they were okay, but so we took off and we then went down to see where the explosion was and make sure his family's okay. And they had cleaned up like within an hour. The whole thing was like, you would never have known it happened.
Because they're ready to go. It's
just extraordinary. It was like, I've heard that that's what you do, but they do. And let me just skip to October 7th. That was a game changer for, I think, if anyone who's Jewish was a game changer.
Sure.
A couple things. One is that over the years, I've made movies with so many different types of people, right? And before the woke, you need to do. I've made 3 TV shows with 3 women showrunners. I did a movie about Matthew Shepard, a gay man, young man who died on the
Anatomy of a Hate Crime.
Anatomy. There you go. I made movies. I made a short film that won the Academy Award about the Black Lives Matter thing. It just goes on and on and on. I mean, I walked the walk. It wasn't just the person who talked. I grew up this way.
Right.
But on October 7th, I didn't feel the same support I was giving to all my friends. I didn't feel that at all. I felt really a silence, and it felt lonely. It felt isolating. A few weeks after October 7th, I had a bunch of 3 survivors at my house. I had 100, 150 people there, and I said, "Raise your hand. Who here feels scared and alone?" Right, and everybody raised their hand. So you feel that way, and then the whole world's against you. That was a moment, like a come to Jesus moment, if I can say.
Come to Moses, maybe?
Come to Moses moment.
Going back to that, the silence from your peers, when you did these different projects, Anatomy of a Hate Crime and Inconvenient Truth and Jackie Brown or whatever it is, was there a sense of you choosing these projects because of what they were about and, putting yourself out there in that way at the time where you thought, that was explicit?
For me, there's a mixture of the way I see the world. When I was a little boy in the late 60s and early 70s, my mom had lost her hair when she was a little girl. It's called alopecia.
Mm-hmm.
So in those days, it was like, don't trust a man, don't trust a corporation, don't trust anyone over 30. But people loved my mom. Now, we had moved to South Jersey, and so my mom would have like the Black Panthers and the Draft Evaders and the long-haired hippies. And as I grew up with all these people around, I was on the buses with my parents down against to the march in Washington against the Vietnam War.
At what age?
Like 8. I mean, it was an incredible thing.
Yeah, that's formative.
So it's just part of me. It's just part of me. And so I long to do, I love to do movies and TV shows about different types of people. I'm attracted to that.
Yeah.
And then something just happens, like Quentin on Jackie Brown. We had optioned this book, Rum Punch. And in the book, Jackie Birch is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed stewardess. And Quinn goes, I'm going to make this my blaxploitation movie.
Right.
So some of it just kind of happens, and some is because I want it to happen. Like The Two Distant Strangers and Cops and Robbers are both award-winning shorts.
These are the Black Lives Matter era shorts.
Yeah. And it was like, I want to do something post-George Floyd during the pandemic. Is like, I need to do something. Yeah, I felt really moved and passionate about that. And when we did the movie The Harder They Fall, Idris Elba, Regina King, Zazie Beetz, Keith Stem, it was like all black Western that took place in the late 1880s, during Reconstruction. Those were all things that I felt like were important to do. Mm-hmm. I just want to find cool ways to do it.
So I understand that then you felt, abandoned by that community.
Yeah, by all these communities. I felt like it's like October 8th. Where are the phone calls? Are you okay? Do you have family over there? Are you friends? Like, what are you going through? And that was tough, right? I was talking to someone whose family was destroyed, murdered, and so forth. And she said to me, do you think those people knew you were Jewish? Because a lot of people don't talk about their Judaism. Don't talk about their being Jewish. I'm like, I think they know I'm Jewish. I mean, I don't like say, hey, I'm a Jew, everybody, but I'm Jewish, and I think it's got to come up sometimes.
It's kind of a fair question, though, right? Because, like, as I've learned, I think I've talked about it on the show, but Van Jones, who I had on the show, he explained to me once that, like, black folks don't even know that, like, Goldberg is a Jewish name. He's like, you guys take that for granted, and that all these different sort of things that we think are explicit but are actually, implicit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't even understand the connection between being a diaspora Jew and Israel and knowing that that's the thing I need to call this person about. I mean, it's a little bit of a cop-out. Like, you should know that, but I don't think a lot of people do.
Yeah. I think it's a mixture of, like you're saying, a cop-out, and probably you're right, and we're talking about very intelligent people here, and we're talking about people who are educated, artists.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's a major bummer.
Yeah.
To bring it back to Red Alert. So you hook up with Keshet. This was not your first dance with Israel, but you talk to the CEO and you say, I want to be involved.
Yeah. So they hook me up with people on their team in Israel. We start going back and forth, talking about ideas. Should we do a movie? Should we do a TV show? Should it be in English? Should it be in Hebrew? At the same time, I got to talk about my movie wife, Jordana Rubin.
Okay.
We were doing stuff. She's the person, like right after October 7th, you saw these electronic billboards with the faces of hostages, right? All over Times Square, all over the country. She did that. She got the pictures. She formatted them. She called the people who have the billboards.
Wow.
She got them to put them up. I mean, she is a doer. And she had just been connected to this Israeli company called Green Productions, and it's this woman named Maya Fisher and Shani Shore. So they were talking, and we didn't know that I was talking to Keshet. And one day she tells, I'm talking to this Israeli company. And I go, I'm talking to this Israeli company. Like, why don't we just all do this together? Bam. Then they had this director that they've been working with, Lior Shefetz.
And just to be clear, to this point, there is no project being discussed yet. It's just, we got to do something here.
We got to do something, and I'm about to dive in full. I don't know the Green production folks, and I don't know Lior, but I do know Avi Nir, and he's vouching for this whole group. Then I went to see Lior's movie, The Stronghold, which is a wonderful movie. To me, the most important thing in anything we do is your emotional involvement, the idea to go through character, right? Character. I knew that I would be able to pull off the action stuff and all that. I knew I could just make that all happen. But, your director has to be able to deliver an emotional story.
Was Red Alert his project?
Yeah. So he tells a story that one of the producers on the show, she had gone through a whole list of different stories. He was going through the stories. We talked about the stories. He was writing, okay, you want to ask why these stories, right? And why exactly these stories. And so we all felt pretty much the same. It's like, we want to do underdog stories. We want to do stories that people can relate to. So who can't relate to family? A mother trying to save her son, a man with his little infant, a man trying to save his wife. They're human stories. And the most important thing in this is that, you've seen a lot of documentaries, you've seen a lot of the pain and suffering, but what you don't see a lot is from the point of view of the person who's actually having to deal with all this, who's being attacked, what they have to survive. And the real people going through real everyday life experiences, feed the baby, get the job, whatever,
And then this day happens.
And in the middle of all this day happens. And the other part of this, what a lot of people don't understand, is that these alerts have been going on their entire life.
The rocket alerts.
The rocket alerts from Gaza. And you have 15 seconds to get into the safe room that they all have. But, most of the time, almost all the time, it never really hits anybody.
Right.
So they're like, okay, I'll get out of bed. Okay, it's 6:29. Like, why now? They're rolling their eyes. Okay, they do what they're supposed to do. But this day was different.
Were you part of selecting the stories? How many are you picking from? Because there are thousands to choose from.
They had 100.
It's a lot.
And I didn't go through all those 100. They presented us with different stories. There were a couple of things that were really important to us. Is one, as the outsiders, basically Jordan and me and my partner, Kevin Brown, as the non-Israelis, we felt it was super important that we have an Arab family. A lot of people just don't understand that Israel is full of Arab people.
Right.
And Arab people were killed.
Yep.
We wanted to represent Israel. So a lot of people have heard about the Nova Festival.
Sure.
So we wanted a story from the Nova Festival, but maybe something a little unique. And a lot of people understand that young people were killed, but people don't really know, a lot of people don't know that there are a lot of police officers or just everyday people who are also murdered, right? They're not like SWAT team people.
Right.
They're just...
This is not what they trained for.
They're small town people who do carry a gun, but still, it's a gun like this.
Right.
It's not against the AK-47.
They're given speeding tickets.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted to show something to do with being gay because like our set, like half our set were gay people. People here don't realize, like gays for Hamas, whatever, they call themselves. It's like, you don't understand the gay parade in Israel is one of the best in the world.
Right.
Right. So, that was important to have like a little, at least something in there to show that, right? Which you have a little moment there, but so we just wanted to show Israel.
What role did you expect that you were going to play beyond just, I'm going to come in, I'm going to manage the budget, and I'm going to help us pull this off? Like, you are this veteran American producer. As you were saying to me before we started rolling, like, you've got like double the length of experience of most of these people. What did you feel like you were there to do?
One of the things I do a lot of work on is with script and material. So I read the scripts and, they need a lot of work. But that's just part of the process. It doesn't scare me, but I just like, okay, they need a lot of work. Kesha said we want this to come out on October 7th. But where the scripts were and where we would need to start shooting and get to there, it's like, that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Now, when Quentin gave me the script Inglourious Basterds and said, do you think we can make Can? I pulled out my BlackBerry at the time and counted the weeks. We had this conversation on July 3rd, a Thursday night before July 4th. And I counted all the weeks out. I wrote it down on a little piece of paper on the phone. And I said to him, look, we'd have to start shooting in 14 weeks from Monday. We'd have X amount of time to shoot, X amount of time post. Anyone you talk to is going to tell you it's not possible. I'm telling you it's possible, but you're going to have to really want it. And if you really want it, we can make it happen. So he said, okay, give me 2 days because I just finished the script. We meet on Sunday at his house, and then we planned it out. And we started 13 and a half weeks from that day. 13 and a half weeks. That includes raising $75 million, putting 2 studios together, moving to Berlin. Neither of us have shot in Germany. That includes casting, crewing,
Do you ever think you'd one day be making an Israeli miniseries and he'd be living in Tel Aviv with Israeli kids and Israeli wife?
No. No.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. I have to tell you, when we did Inglourious Basterds, I took him I said, you got to go to the Yad Vashem. It was his idea to go to Israel because with Inglourious Basterds, not like Israel's normally on your stop of doing movie tours.
Right.
Because you're going to promote box office. It's not like Israel's like a big box office for you.
Some huge market.
But he said it's really important we go to Israel. So that was his idea, which is amazing. The moment we were there, I said, we got to go to the Yad Vashem. And what was amazing about the trip to the Yad Vashem, it was extraordinary how much he knew because years and years of developing the script, he had done so much research. And he's got like this encyclopedia brain. He knew, it's like here, that side, And the guy who was showing us around was like, okay.
Yeah, wow. It's kind of other stuff.
Yeah.
I want to ask about that movie specifically. Like, what was the genesis of that story? And how did you feel like when he brought it to you and like, we're going to make a movie about Nazi killers? We're going to rewrite history. We're going to take down Hitler.
He'd been working on that script for a long time.
Were you aware of it all that time? Okay.
Yes. He never gave me pages. He would always read me. He said, come over to the house. I want to read you some scenes. Or at that time, we had an office. He said, let me come to your office. I want to read you some scenes. And the way he solved it was there were 3 halves he had of a script, which doesn't add up, as you know. Just so we can do that.
But it makes sense when I'm like thinking about his movies. They sort of feel like they have 3 halves.
Right. But one of the three halves was about the black soldiers in World War II.
Yes.
And he had these incredible barbershop scenes. Wow. And the Nazis and the Native American Indians and the way the Nazis recognized Native Americans and how the Nazis were like, wow, the slaves that these guys had, I mean, it's all this crazy, bizarre stuff. So I hadn't seen him in a while, and he calls me up and he says, "Hey, you want to come to my birthday party? I'm throwing it with Fergie. We're having my birthday party in Vegas." And so I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'm there."
Sounds like a good time.
So they have this big suite for a few hundred people later on in the night, and he says, "Hey, I'm writing Inglourious Basterds." I go, "Oh, cool," but like, I didn't think that he'd been writing for years. So
Right.
I'm happy that he's back into his creative process, but it didn't occur to me. This is in April. It didn't occur to me that it was almost done.
Right. That'd be coming out next summer.
Yeah, exactly. So then when I got the phone call, I'm like, oh, now we had stopped working together before. We had like a falling out.
Like a professional falling out or a personal falling
We
out?
had like a professional falling out. But we're still friendly. We're still friends. Invites me to his premieres. He called me. I got my answering machine, and he says, "Hey, I want you. I finished my script. I want you to read it." I'm like, "Oh, cool. We'll see what I think."
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
nice. I like that. And I read the script, and I went to pick up the phone to call him again, and I actually read it again.
Wow.
And I called him, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what did you just do? This is amazing! Like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? This is like, as a Jewish guy, this is incredible.
Yeah.
This is like, wow, Quentin, holy shit."
You said you'd already had a falling out
Mhm.
prior to this. Why do you think he came back to you for this one? Do you think it was because of the Jewish connection, or just like he knew you were the guy to make this because of your relationship, or what?
I think it was two things. I think the unconscious thing was that I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
I think that's more unconscious than conscious, but maybe not, because everything with him is he's a very conscious guy. I think the main thing was he wanted to get the can.
Right. He knew you could make it happen.
He knew I would make it happen.
Right.
He knew I would put it this way, he knew I would want it as much as he would want it.
Right.
And I'd find a way to make it happen.
You're both not afraid, clearly, to show Jews be powerful on screen. You love Israel. He loves Israel. I think we got to get the band back together, make the greatest movie about Israel of all time that people would actually go and see.
Oh my goodness.
I'm putting it out there.
Yeah, that's a good thing to put out there.
Yeah.
I've run into Quentin a couple times recently.
Like in the Shook?
Unfortunately, at two memorials at his Vista Theater, two people we love, we gave each other a big hug and so forth. And so, yeah, I don't know what he's writing. I have no idea. But obviously, I think he's done that movie, though. I think, he's done the movie about Jews.
It's very different. Very different. American Jews going around in Europe, very different than an Israeli story.
That's true. Listen,
if there's anybody who could pull it off, it's you guys.
There's no question, and I would lobby that.
Okay, you heard it here.
Quentin, you hear that?
Yeah, I
Someone's
love
going to
that.
send this to you. I learned a lot from Quentin, right? I learned a lot of things from Quentin, and one of the early things I learned was the word no does not exist. There's no reason to say no. You always have to figure out.
Find your way to the yes.
Yeah. And, I'm not the only one who does this, right? All good producers
Sure.
do this, right? The Israelis are used to working with such a small amount of money that they're constantly used to, compromising because they don't have the money.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, it's not a good day to do this. We're switching days. Oh, that set won't be ready. Oh, yeah, we'll make it ready. We'll just work around the clock until it's ready. That set can be made ready. No. And I think Lior appreciated it. And my co-producers, who, by the way, the Israeli crew, these guys, what they accomplished with a third of what we have is extraordinary. There's that one word, chutzpah, right?
Yeah, sure.
But it's real. Of course, they don't have all the toys. They don't have all the equipment that we
Right.
have. But they have a very small crew, small amount of equipment, and somehow it all works. And, Red Alert is proof of that.
Is there anything that you are going to take away from that experience in terms of, I like how they do X, Y, Z, and I'm going to bring that into how we're doing it here?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is yes. I know that I know what a real Israeli budget looks like, and I know that crews can be smaller with the right group of people, but that way of making that movie wouldn't work here necessarily. But unless you're like a first-time filmmaker,
right?
I mean, I did Reservoir Dogs for $1 million. I did this movie Fresh. He shot for 40 days in New York City. It was a $3 million movie. I mean, that's like a miracle.
Yes.
So I've done it, but I haven't done it in a few decades. So maybe it was a good reminder.
It's probably stressful.
On the other hand, I looked at this first schedule they gave me, and by the way, Lior said, "Okay, this works." And I'm like, Lior, what are you talking about? This doesn't work. How could you say that? But I'm just realizing that they're just used to doing things differently. So at first I said, we got to add days. There's no way we're doing this like this. We're adding days, but we're gonna have to cut back. And I don't care. We have to add days, because that's like one of the most important things is having enough days to film what you want to film.
Sure.
So then the cast start getting the call sheets. They're not used to seeing so little being done on each day. It's like, is there a mistake?
Right. They're used to like soap opera. Let's just shoot up all day, 100 scenes.
Exactly. And then it was like, but then when we're filming, it was like, we barely made every day. It was like, there was a lot to shoot. And he's like, how do you do it in half the time? I don't understand like how you guys do this. But so it was like a good combination.
Something you spoke about at this event last night that I'd like you to speak a little bit about now is how much in relationship you were with the real people whose stories are being told on screen, how much they were around the set, how much you were communicating with them. Can you share a little bit about, whatever stands out to you right now that you want to share?
So I really did a deep dive. I really felt like it was important for me to really be in Israel and take Israel in. So like every Saturday night I went to Hostage Square. And because I was making this movie and people kind of knew who I was always backstage, which meant I had the privilege of meeting all the families that had people that were hostages. It was rough. Amongst a lot of people, I met Batsheva Yoalami, who was played in our show by Rotem Sella. And so I got to know her a little bit because I met her a few times there. And then so we had a relationship before she came to the set. Just in this particular, there's so many incredible moments, but
yeah, I
had been with this guy named Ziv Kuran. Ziv is this incredible photojournalist, war photographer. And on October 7th, he jumped on his BMW motorcycle and head south.
Wow.
And went right into the fire, like right into the, he's got these videos. It's like he's hiding behind the wheel of a car and gunshots or bullets are hitting around him. And he's taking video and he doesn't even know if he's going to make it.
My God.
And the IDF is over there and these terrorists are over there. And it's like, it's like, oh my God. So he was showing me, he's on the front cover of Figaro and this one, that. Well, there's all these different magazines from different countries. And he showed me this picture of a handprint in blood on the wall at their house, at the Yoalami house. And he said, yeah, this is Ohad's handprint. And Ohad had been recently returned dead.
This is the husband, the father of the family.
The father of the family who was in the story. So then a couple of days later, Batsheva showed up to the set. She knows Ziv. So I was with Ziv, and he showed me this picture of, and I didn't even say your husband, Ohad. I just started losing my words, to be honest. And I said, of Ohad's hand, bloody hand on the wall. Have you seen that picture? She goes, no. I go, do you want to see it? Like now I'm really stumbling here, like what to do.
Yeah.
And, but I imagine she's going to see it. And she said, yes. So I got my phone and I showed her the picture. He had sent it to me, so I had it. And she goes, that's not his hand. And has the number 10 on it. So the IDF or whoever, when they go through the homes, they number all the places that need to be marked, right, for evidence or whatever. And so I said, no, it's his hand. Ziv was there, like he was there. He went in. That's his hand. So she pulls out her phone, and she said, look, here are all the pictures. And she starts going through her pictures, and you see all the numbers, and then she gets the number 10. And it was the same picture, but it was like a month or two later, so it was very faded, and you couldn't barely see it. She goes, oh my God, that's that's his handprint.
Whoa.
It's just this like terror, but it was like an incredible moment. Like a year and a half later, she's seeing new things, and I happen to be witness of her seeing this other thing.
Was that a moment of connection to her husband in that way? Was there something to it beyond just the tragedy of it?
I felt like it just brought her back for a second. I just brought her into her family. I could feel her. I didn't ask her what she's feeling at that moment. I didn't ask her, what are you thinking? But I feel like she had a moment, and it was something connecting. There's so many of these stories.
I know. I'm sure. These are what people want to hear for sure.
There's an actress that's on the set. Her name is Moran, and she plays one of the police officers at the Nova police thing that is murdered. So Moran has a niece who was on vacation, and her niece says to her, if a police officer with red hair, a woman, shows up, she's the one who saved my life, and you have to say hello. So I didn't know any of this yet. So I'm sitting at lunch with her. We're just talking to her. And this woman, she saved like 100 people, literally, not like 100 people she saved.
Who saved all these people?
The policeman, his name is Bat.
Bat.
Right. Red-headed police officer. And I don't think I'm talking escort. It's not like someone who runs the 100 meter in 9 seconds. Like, you're not someone who would particularly like, she's just like a regular, ordinary, everyday person. She did 100 people. RPG hit very close to her, and she flew through the air, and she had to have facial reconstruction. She got up and ran after that. So, and we were asking her, do you remember the names of the people you saved? And she says, I remember the names of the people I didn't save. And you could just feel the pain. This is not a person who's talking lightly about anything, right?
Yeah.
So Moran gets her phone, and she's FaceTiming with this niece of hers, and Bat comes over. She says, you saved my niece. She's here on FaceTime. And she says to the niece, I can't remember her name, she says, you saved my life. You saved my life. I was by your feet while you were firing, while you were shooting. I was literally by your feet while you're shooting to the terrorists. And the niece was like so thankful. And Bat was it was like, there was not a lot of emotion. She said thank you and smiled, and you could feel like a glimmer of that was a nice thing.
Yeah.
But she had so much damn pain in her that even that beautiful, you saved my life. That's an incredible thing.
Right. Probably still doesn't balance the scale for the guilt she feels for.
Yeah. And recently, just a couple nights ago, we were at the Creative Coalition for Peace, and I was driving back with a couple of people, and one of them said, I was on the phone with Bat. I'm like, Bat? She says, yes. She says, do you know Lawrence Bender? Say hello. I'm like, wow. I was like so moved.
This hero remembers me.
Yeah, that's exactly right. She's like a superhero. But the one thing that I really got out of this, as speaking to many people on the set, it was like distressing that the very people that are in trauma, that were in first person attacked or had to survive, they're the very people that people are still attacking them from outside. They're alone, they're isolated. And it's just terrible that these people feel alone. They need love. They need to be hugged. They need support. So I felt like a real obligation is not the right word, but just a need to to tell their stories, right? I felt it was super important. That became a real mission for all of us.
One story you mentioned last night that I want you to share again had something to do with scorpions.
At Chevy Olami, when she came to the set one day, she brought a little scorpion, metal scorpion, and she put it on my other Nova necklace. And she said, this is for you. I'm like, oh. And the reason I know what it was, because I already knew a lot, is that Bathsheba's husband, Ohad, was a scorpion expert, like a real expert. He wrote a book on scorpions. And she showed me pictures of her kids with little scorpions on their wrists. It's like...
That's wild.
That's wild. So I carry that. I wear it a lot of times, and I'm wearing Ohad.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I gotta show you something. Check this out.
Oh,
There's my scorpion.
look at that.
Yeah.
All right, tell me that story.
So this was my first tattoo I ever got.
Okay.
I'm a Scorpio.
Okay.
And I identify very strongly as one. And it was sort of, I didn't get a tattoo till I was 37 and was always sort of like, what's going to be the one thing like I'll always be? And it was a scorpion. And I have like words hidden in it. Husband, father, Jew, son, and artist are hidden in the scorpion.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It makes me think of one thing. I always say, I know it's a weird thing to say, but we're all going to die.
Sure.
And someday when I die, and if I have a gravestone, I'm going to have, here lies a father and here lies a dancer.
Okay.
Those are going to be the two things.
Please say more.
I'm an ex-ballet dancer.
Right.
And something I carry with me, I feel like I'm a dancer. That's who I am. It comes out in my producing, whatever, I don't know. But that's in my core, that's what I feel like I am.
How do you feel like it manifests through producing?
First of all, I just love to dance. I love dance. I love watching dance.
My wife is a dancer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What kind of dancer?
She does like all styles. She was on So You Think You Can Dance.
Oh, man.
She was an all-star a couple times. She did a lot of TV film, a lot of hip-hop, dance for the Knicks, a lot of different things. Yeah. Weekly shout out to Courtney.
So, okay. What's producing? Producing is two main things.
Making a bunch of people do a bunch of shit while they complain and make your life miserable. Was that first?
I wasn't even going to think of that.
Okay.
But there you
That's
go.
what it is for me.
The two main things, maybe that fits into one of them.
Yeah.
Is, okay, I have a degree in civil engineering.
Right.
Okay. So what's civil engineering? It's all about problem solving. It doesn't matter where you're at, what you're talking about doing microchips, or if you're talking about building a sewage treatment plant or whatever. It's all about solving problems. Half of producing is solving problems, right? The other half of producing comes from my dance and my acting background, right? For me, anyway, which is the poetic, the ethereal, the magical, the creative.
I also find that dancers work their asses off. So that probably helps as a producer too.
Yeah, and the discipline. Yeah, you're not dancing unless you're disciplined. Yeah, that discipline. Yeah.
It's unusual to shoot dramatizations of moments in the moments where those things happened less than 2 years since they happened there. I mean, that had to have been another sort of layer to your experience in production.
Yeah, for many reasons. First of all, it's just the question, is it too soon?
Right?
There's that question. And that came up, and we're like, no. That's the easy answer. Nope. We got to make this, and we got to make this fast. We need people to understand why we are here today.
Yeah.
People need to understand the truth of why we're here. This, even though obviously it was a big thing in Israel, big event in Israel, this show, we made it for the rest of the world to see.
And you say you were concerned about people seeing it. Which people? The people who had been involved with it?
We're concerned about the Israelis who are traumatized, reliving it, right? I mean, that's a concern,
Sure.
And it's real. And I've heard it from many people, by the way, that, I'm Israeli, I lived there, it was very hard to watch, but I'm happy I did it. I'm glad I did it. It was important to do. And I've seen this on TikTok. I've seen it. People send me random things of people saying, this is really intense. It was very difficult. I really think everyone needs to see it. But in terms of shooting, while the war is still going on.
Right. I mean, that too.
We're shooting the Beshevi Olami story when her and her little infant and her daughter are running from the war, and we're in the Gaza envelope area. So we're probably a couple of kilometers or whatever away from Gaza.
Right.
And you could hear the...
You're like, I didn't order an explosion for the scene.
Yeah. The war is going on, and you hear the war. That moment in time, we're not afraid anything's going to happen to us. But at the same time, we're like, wow, we're shooting during the war. It's just crazy.
And you're getting rocket alerts while you're shooting.
And then we're getting rocket alerts. And so part of it was, okay, especially in the South. In the North, like when you're just living on the weekend or night, if there's a missile attack from the Houthis, you learn that there's an 8-minute.
Right, you got more time.
You got 8 minutes.
Tel Aviv.
Yeah. The first time I was there during this whole period, I got off the plane that night, in the morning, I had my first meeting at 10 o'clock. I'm at like the 8th floor of a building, and we're in the middle of a meeting, and an alert goes off. It's like, ooh.
You're triggering a lot of people right now in their ears right now, Lawrence.
Yes. And it's like, and the people look at me. There's like a few people in the meeting, and they go, "We're really sorry." They're apologizing to me. They're apologizing.
Right. I'm so sorry for this interruption. Sorry you have to put up with this right now.
And they pick up their Danish and their coffee, and they say, "You have to come with us. We're going to this safe area," right?
Slow, orderly, calm.
Slow, orderly. It's like, it's something you kind of have to do because you're supposed to. They're not really, because you know that you feel pretty confident the Iron Dome is going to hit it. And then you get the alert that it's over. The thing is, every once in a while, it doesn't work.
Right.
So, the day I got there, it had just landed in Terminal 3 in the field outside of Ben Gurion Airport.
Wow.
Right? And then Delta and everyone shut the airlines down. So every once in a while, something happens. So, you just do it. But by the time I left, just to tell you the story, I feel like I became an Israeli because I was with my buddy. We were having dinner at this fun place. So we all sitting outside, and the alarm goes off. The hostess comes over. The safe room is inside there. And we look at her. We look at each other like, the fish is going to get cold.
Right. We'll take the risk.
We'll take the risk. Yeah. But in the South...
Different story.
In the South, you have 15 seconds. So we're called a red alert. 15 seconds. You have to put these concrete safe rooms, called mamads, on trailers and carry them with us.
And they're just sitting on like a truck bed?
They're sitting on a truck bed. And we have them near where the catering is or where the crew bases are. But, also if you're filming out in the field, it's not there.
Right.
So there's a little bit of risk. We're very clear about everything. So, that's like stuff you don't think about. Or we're in this one town. We're shooting a fight sequence between they're actors.
Right.
There's the Hamas actors, and then there's the IDF actors. And they all look like the real thing. And the mayor's freaking out because, what if someone up in that building up there sees a gun battle and thinks it's a real Hamas, and every other guy that's living in that town has a gun and is going to run towards the problem, right?
Yeah.
This we know. And this he knows. So we have like a drone up in the sky attached to a tether that doesn't come down, and the police officer is watching on this big screen to make sure like an innocent bystander person doesn't walk into the range that they see something because they're going to have a gun.
Right.
And then we had these speakers, these loudspeakers every 10 meters, every 10 yards, blasting every like 15, 20 minutes. We're shooting a movie here. This is a movie. Everything's okay.
Don't freak out.
Exactly. And then when we brought the actors to the set from the holding area, we had them in these white hazmat-y kind of suits so that there was no chance taken. Then there's another thing. You have to remember that you're in Israel, and because of this, a lot of people are carrying guns.
Sure.
Which means crew members can come to the set with a gun. But we know that if you have real guns on the set and you have prop guns, that something could happen. We all know that now, right? We've seen this, unfortunately. We've seen this movie.
Right.
And to realize, this is our first gun battle scene, and we have all these prop guns, and I see guys with guns, right? So I called the line producer and said, okay, I need to know what your rules are, because I know what my rules are. I've shot thousands of guns. You never had one problem. And then something happened. I saw a guy put his prop gun down, and the guy sitting next to him had a gun in his pocket. Now, nothing happened, but I said, look, that prop gun's sitting right there. What if the guy with the gun just picks that up by mistake and something get right? Like,
there's a lot of opportunity for mistakes and risk.
Needless to say, they were just as it was important to them like it was to me, but there was a lot of attention specifically to that because there's more risk built into it like that.
What was the process like trying to sell this film in this climate, or this series, I should say? Anything that has a whiff of Israel or Jewish even gets conflated, and people are skittish, and yet, boom, it's already streaming. So what happened? How'd that go for you?
Israel had just bombed Qatar, And then the Hollywood folks decided to boycott the filmmakers of Israel.
This was before the sale had been made?
It was before.
You guys sold it this close to October 7th was the sale?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, that I didn't realize.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
these things are happening in August, September?
Yes, exactly. So the investors are asking us, and we're having meetings with our investors. Look, I know we planned on going out to sell it. We had a plan, September 3rd. We're going to send the first 2 episodes to we're going to call, I know all the people, they know the people, we're going to call them all and send them the first 2 episodes along with the trailer. We actually have 2 months less post than a normal show would have because we wanted to get it out in time for the first episode to drop in Israel by October 7th. But we had to have a conversation with them. Like, it's impossible. You don't understand. You don't live here. You're not in this business. The idea of selling an Israeli show right now, it's not going to happen.
They want to touch with a 10-foot pole.
And they're like, this is crazy. You have to be. One of them said to me, you got to be like that police officer, the husband going after his wife. No matter what, he's going to get there. You cannot stop. You have to go. And it said, I developed that character. I know that character really well. I am with you 100%. But we don't do something stupid here. Out of the blue, so I'm at Skip Brittenham's funeral, his memorial. So Skip Brittenham, for those who don't know or watching, is like the Mount Rushmore of lawyers, as my lawyer would say. This incredible man, this incredible human. Skip was also David Ellison's lawyer since the beginning, and they were very tight. So at this big big memorial, and I run into David, who I've been friendly with over the last 20 years. I know that he's a Zionist. I know that he's a person who has a lot of love for Israel.
Right.
So I'm excited to tell him what I'm doing. I'm just like, you have no idea, well, here's what I'm doing. And I didn't get more than a few words out of my mouth, and you could just see his body expand and his eyes light up. And he said, this is incredible. This is so timely. I would love to see this. I would love to see this. Please send this to me. So out of respect for Skip, I waited till the next day.
Very nice.
But I have to tell you, both David and I love to say that Skip Brittenham is overlooking, this is one more deal that he's made from heaven.
May his memory be a blessing. Thank you, Skip.
Yes. So I send the trailer. He says, send me everything. And every time he watches an episode, he sends me a message saying, this is incredible. And he literally said to me, it would be my honor to do this with you.
It's amazing.
And it was like, how humbling. From David Ellison, how humbling is that? So, of course, he gave it to Cindy Holland. And Cindy Holland runs Paramount Plus. And they have a little powwow. And I know it was Cindy's idea. But maybe David's too. But anyway, David relays the message. We want them all to drop on October 7th. So this is we had 2 weeks to go.
And you'd only, cut one of them?
They were all pretty much final print cuts, picture lock, pretty much. Not
but like music effects.
What I sent them was temp music, temp effects, temp mix. And they said, is it possible? I said, of course it's possible. Because,
There's that lesson again about, you don't say no, you find your way.
So I called up my team, Maya and Shani and everybody and said, okay, here's the good news. And then here's the tough news. And not bad news, it's the tough news. And okay.
Strap in, guys.
Strap in, double shifts, triple shifts. And for me personally, the day goes here in LA. At 11 o'clock at night is when 9 o'clock in the morning Israel time is when they start. So I just kept going through 24 hours a day for almost 10 days. Like when we were doing visual effects, I would sit with them and go through for an hour or two on visual effects. I go to sleep for 2 hours. They would tweak it. I get back on.
Watch it again.
Or the same with the music, same with the mix.
One more thing before we get to our wrap up. So growing up, we mentioned you're born in the Bronx. You moved to Cherry Hill. And I've heard you speak about your upbringing, that it was very white and very anti-Semitic. And that was part of your childhood was, getting bullied for being Jewish by all the other kids. I mean, how challenging was that experience as a kid? And did your parents feel that in the neighborhood too? Or was it just kids being dicks? And how much of that do you think, affected the person that you've become?
Yeah, it's weird. Like when I was in 6th grade, it wasn't so anti-Semitic. It was like, I'm the only kid in the class who's Jewish, and I need to stand up and tell people what the holiday's about. And that's not being, that's not it, but that's just a weird feeling.
Right.
Because as a kid, you just want to fit in. You don't want to be called out, even if it's something that's good, right? But then when I get to high school, they put their hand on the nose like this, like big nose, and they go, Der Ike, because my nose grew bigger when I was young, and Der Ike was short for Bender Kike. Now, we're just kids, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't like it, but it's like not the worst thing in the world either. It's my best friends, by the way. These are my friends.
So so they think it's funny.
They think it's funny.
Okay.
They think it's funny, and I'm like, and I'm like a good kid for a Jew.
Right.
I'm Jewish, but I'm still a good kid. I mean, these are like weird, right? Just like, so I grew up like, that's just normal. That's just, for me, it was just normal. The thing that was a bit of more of a pain in the ass was the Polish kids and the Italian kids used to push me in the lockers, and I have to deal with that. Nothing was life-threatening. Like, nothing, I was never feeling for my life or like someone's going to like do something bad. But, I was still getting pushed around. I never told my parents. I don't know. My mom, I told my mom in a later life. And why didn't you tell me? Man, kids just don't tell their parents sometimes. When I was in college, I went to school at the University of Maine. I was dating a girl. And as we were walking into her house, she says to me, I think my parents will be fine that you're Jewish. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. What?
Yeah.
Huh? And I'm like, yeah, good. I mean,
yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah, like, okay, anything else I should know before we walk in?
Yeah.
And it never came up, but it's just like odd things in my life. So being Jewish from a cultural point of view, my grandparents all came from Romania, Hungary, Belarus in the early 1900s. So I grew up with eating great food and culturally Jewish, and all the wonderful things that come with being Jewish. I had that in my family, and it's great. It's just amazing stuff. It's like, I feel very fortunate to be brought up by two Jewish parents and Jewish grandparents, and on the other hand, I got to have this fun time being with people who either know anything about Jews or are anti-Semitic without knowing it, or
It's fun time with the anti-Semites.
And what it did make me feel, though, when I had my son, it was really important to me that he understood his Judaism.
Mm-hmm.
So at early ages, I brought him to Israel. I wanted to have a fun time. When he was 7, we went our first time.
Wow.
And I just didn't want to do anything like cultural. I wanted to think of Israel as a fun place to go.
Okay, so meaning what? Like what kind of stuff did you want to do?
We went to Eilat, and he learned to scuba dive.
Mm.
And he learned to scuba dive with dolphins
in
the Red Sea. We went, surfing, paddleboard surfing in the Med. We took a sailing trip up to with a friend of mine.
Wow.
We went in the underground under the wall, all right? Well. We went under that ground there, and it was like really cool for a kid to be under these kind of really cool places. And the other thing that's really cool is that you don't think about. Tel Aviv is such a safe place. My friend, he's a couple nights to stay with my buddy, Aviv Giladi. And Aviv's daughter at the time was like 13 and he was 7. And they called me and said, yeah, we're going to send them down to, they're going to get some ice cream around the corner. And so the 13-year-old's taking the 7-year-old, or maybe she's 11 or 12, around the corner. I would never let my kid out of the house at that age here in LA, as an example.
That's not even Tel Aviv. I have cousins who live outside Jerusalem, and the 12-year-old picks up the 6-year-old from school and walks them home, and other kids who live in the building picks them up too and brings them home. Not even siblings, just how it goes there.
And the other thing I always loved is about Israelis is when you go to an afternoon party, and the adults are there, and the teenagers are there. Now they're in different parts of the backyard, but they're all there. Every once in a while, someone would come over, but they're all there together. And that's so I was I wanted that.
Yeah.
And I'll say one last story, which is a really fun story, is that, of course, you're jet lagged. So as an adult, you learn how to deal with it. It's not easy.
Right.
As a kid, they're so dysregulated.
Right, you don't know what's going on.
And we're on our way to meet Shimon Peres. And my son at the time, who's 10 now, he's having a meltdown. He needs to have a soda. And we're in that area. It's in Jaffa, right? I think where his area is. But wherever we were, there was no like store to walk in and get like a soda. I'm like, oh my God, he's just so upset and so jet lagged. And we're walking to this beautiful building and he's crying, he's having a temper tantrum. So I have to say to him, I said, look, we're going to meet this really important person. And maybe you don't care. Someday you're going to. But if you don't stop, I'm going to leave you downstairs. You're going to sit here with the security guard. I'm going to go upstairs. So he chills out. He comes upstairs with me. Now, I've never let him have soda. And the first thing Shimon Peres says to my son is, would you like a Coca-Cola? And he looks at me. I go, if the president says that,
right,
you could have it.
The presidential soda.
And his mood changed completely. And I had this great picture of the three of us together, you know.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
My first Coca-Cola from the president of Israel.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, what's next for you? Career-wise, Israel-wise, what are you up to now?
Well, part of me, to be honest, is still in full-scale promotion mode. I want everyone in the world to see this show. I did it for a reason. I want people to really, as I said earlier, know why we are here today, to understand the truth, have these voices amplified. And I've gotten just incredible feedback, yes, but also every once in a while I hear a story that's like, I think it's changed my way of thinking.
Wow.
And I've heard that a couple times now from an Iraqi Muslim and a Lebanese Muslim.
Wow.
And so, one by one.
That's amazing. If those people are taking the time to watch this, I mean, that's incredible. That's a win right there.
So I feel like I have a mission to spend more time promoting, get the word out.
All right. Before we finish things off here, usually I like to end the show with a lightning round, but
okay.
I'm going to do something a little different for you.
All right.
We're going to do a new segment that I'm calling Critics' Choice.
Oh, no.
I'm going to read a log line of a film, and you have to try to guess what the movie is called.
Oh, I'm going to suck at this.
This is going to be good. All right, so this is Critics' Choice with Lawrence Bender. A down-on-his-luck Ugandan immigrant, after interning for his mother and performing rap songs in a food truck, becomes mayor of New York City.
Mayor Mandani? I don't know.
Don't mess with the Zoran. Next one. Years in the making. The greatest undercover spy operation of all time results in the simultaneous detonation of thousands of beepers exploding the genitalia of Hezbollah terrorists all over the Middle East.
What can we call this? Let's see. Reality?
The correct answer is Muslim Brotherhood of the Traveling Pants.
This is great. This is better than Bill Maher.
Thank you. Hey, Bill, you heard it here. A janitor with genius-level intellect is sent to a therapist as part of a plea deal, leading to a life-changing relationship that helps him confront his emotional demons.
Means something other than Good Will Hunting?
It is Good Will Hunting.
Oh,
okay, great. This one is a play adapted into a film. A middle-aged actress so invested in performative activism that when she's not spewing anti-Israel hate, she's turning jihadism into fashion statements.
Bella Hadid, I don't know.
Frosty Nixon. Frosty Nixon.
Okay, all right. Not bad.
A controversial leader facing corruption charges continues to escape trial through a series of self-serving political maneuvers.
Is this the name of a prime minister we're talking? Is there a movie?
It's a movie.
It's a movie. BB gets his gun?
Very close. BB's Day Out.
BB's
Day Out.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
And last, in the wake of horrific tragedy, a career storyteller with a love for social justice refocuses on the needs of his people as never before, bringing their pain and triumph to the screen, reaching hearts and minds all over the globe.
Lawrence Bender joins Jonah Platt on his show.
Almost. The correct answer is The Last Airbender.
Oh, nice.
Boom.
Bam.
Lawrence, that was a lot of fun. Thank you for letting me do that. Thank you for being here.
Sorry, I suck so bad with that.
No, it's
but you were good. That was
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah.
And thank you for, putting this on the screen. It is Red Alert. It is streaming now on Paramount Plus. You can do a free trial, so anybody can watch it. No excuses. Lawrence, thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you again to my guest, Lawrence Bender. And again, Paramount Plus, free trial. You have no excuse. And a reminder, we just launched our new Being Jewish community, our Kehillah. This is your online community for all things being Jewish. Sign up right now at beingjewishpodcast.com. We got tons of great perks for you, and also this show is quickly running out of money. And if you're in Los Angeles, our screening of Fuente Latina's Testigos del Terror, the Spanish-language documentary about October 7th and what happened to the Latino-Israeli immigrants there, is coming up in 2 nights, Thursday evening, November 13th at the Writers Guild Theater here in LA. Check the show notes for links. That's it for me. I'll see y'all back here for the next killer episode of Being Jewish with me, Jonah Platt.